You are now watching The Beach.
The roster of Mario Kart World has been a major talking point. As we're rapidly approaching the release of Mario Kart World, the time for new information about character reveals is running out. I've been wanting to share my full thoughts about Mario Kart World's roster since the masterpiece of crap known as the Mario Kart World Direct. But I wanted to wait and see if Nintendo would reveal any characters on either Nintendo Today or through advertisements. Throughout the almost 2 months leading up to release, there has been nothing new in regards to new characters, and considering I actually got to play the game early, I realized something after playing it. Playable characters in the demo were limited, but the characters you'd actually race against were often characters not playable in the demo. This is a fact sort of lost in obscurity, mostly because the original Mario Kart 8 has been completely antiquated by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where all the characters are available by default except for Gold Mario. But in the original Mario Kart 8, you actually unlock characters. The unlocking process itself was nothing, just winning cups and you'd randomly get a new character. A far cry from Mario Kart Wii's unlocking system, which was so rewarding and actually gave star rankings and time trials a purpose. But another marquee difference with Mario Kart Wii compared to Mario Kart 8 is that in Wii, if a character hadn't been unlocked, they would not show up in races and remain a secret. But in Mario Kart 8, you just see the Koopalings racing with you even if you haven't unlocked them yet, which is seemingly the same in Mario Kart World. That realization right there is why I think what you see right now of Mario Kart World's roster, listen up y'all, cause this is it. Motel 6 Rob is not in it. I asked you guys if you wanted to see a rant about Mario Kart World's roster, rather than just making the 46,853rd rant about how Fishbones made me so depressed that I became emo and ended up living on the streets of Seattle smoking crack. I'm giving you something better. You're getting a rant about the roster, and something that people haven't really made a video on yet. The real reason why the roster is the way it is. And it goes beyond Nintendo's developer interview where they essentially said, we didn't know where to go next. Before getting into it, make sure to comment who your favorite Mario Kart character is. Make sure to subscribe as well, and also consider joining channel memberships. For just $2 a month, you get to watch videos early, join exclusive channel member streams, and even more perks. It helps the channel greatly and helps me keep doing YouTube full time. Let's start off with the roster itself. If you've seen my Mario Kart Origins series, you'll know that the first thing I cover for any Mario Kart game is the roster, because that's the first thing you'll encounter in a Mario Kart game. When it comes to the character rosters, Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 7 instantly come to mind. Mario Kart Wii for the longest time had the best roster in the entire series. It consisted of the mainstays, new characters, and even some what the heck additions. You know how Baby Rosalina was bashed by the Mario Kart community for the longest time, but Baby Daisy wasn't? That's because Mario Kart Wii wasn't missing mainstays like Diddy Kong or Bowser Jr. to seemingly make way for made-up babies and metal characters. But on the flip side, you take a look at Mario Kart 7's roster, and will probably utter a what the hell? I will say, I love the addition of characters like Lakitu, Wiggler, and even Honey Queen. They're not characters you would expect, but they're such fun additions, and those are amongst my favorite kind of Mario Kart characters. Rob the Robot, Funky Kong, Honey Queen, all such out there cool characters. I don't get the Honey Queen hate. The only argument against her inclusion that has any merit is Nathaniel Bandy's. Okay, that was hilarious. But what isn't hilarious is that Waluigi is missing! Oh no! This has got to be the worst example of a Mario Kart game missing a mainstay in the roster. Mario Kart DS managed to have Dry Bones and Rob, but made sure Daisy and Waluigi were there. Those two are characters that need to be in the roster. It's like a Sonic racing game without Knuckles. I don't even think the Mario Kart 7 roster is bad outside of Waluigi not being playable. It's unique more than anything, and Mario Kart 7's roster is the perfect parallel to Mario Kart World's roster. Mario Kart games are known to have at least one what the heck character, but Mario Kart World what the heck characters are almost all of the new characters. The cow is the most memed, but I would argue that the Snowman, Cataquack, and Fishbones are even weirder choices. And I will say, while RPG characters Cappy and Prince Florian have been heavily requested characters, so have Pianta, Spike, and Goomba. That's not even accounting for characters like Nabbit returning from Mario Kart Tour. No matter how ridiculous the characters are, it's only a good thing to have variety. But unfortunately, there are two big problems with the roster. One is exactly what you think. The other is not. Where the heck are the mainstays like Diddy Kong and Funky Kong? Where are the Koopalings? Why did Kamek get the boot again after going through so much? And why not bring in more Mario Kart Tour characters like Poochie and Dixie Kong? As I mentioned before, why are there no Super Mario Bros. Wonder or even Super Mario Odyssey characters? We saw throughout the Nintendo Switch's entire life that Nintendo did not give a damn about Super Mario Odyssey representation. It's a complete departure from how they incorporated elements from Super Mario Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion into the GameCube spin-offs. Nintendo might have the philosophy that they always want to do something new, but why go to the effort to create fan-favorite characters like Prince Florian and Cappy, only to just throw them on the streets of Seattle? I'm not expecting RPG characters, but come on! Why not include characters from the mainline games? That is a major issue. Here's the thing though. Diddy Kong isn't in Mario Kart World because Fishbones replaced him. That's not how it works. Everyone was saying Pink Gold Peach stole a spot in the roster in Mario Kart 8. Even myself for a while. Nintendo just had a vision for which characters they wanted to prioritize. Fishbones was always going to be there. It's not like getting rid of him would suddenly guarantee a spot for Diddy Kong. I think some of the characters are added due to a creative vision. Having Rob in Mario Kart DS? That is something that still stands out 2 decades later. You'll remember that for life. But I think that some are added due to time constraints, or unfortunately, a little bit of laziness. Mario Kart 8 in retrospect was absolutely rushed. They nailed the most important stuff being the tracks and mechanics, but the battle mode and roster are clear signs they needed to meet a deadline fast, because Mario Kart 8 released almost 2 years after the Wii U launched. Now with Mario Kart World, they've had 8 years to develop the game. We know it started development all the way back in 2017, so there's no way it could be rushed. But the other aspect I can't stand about the roster is that some of the characters are so sloppily included. Some of the characters don't have arms, fine. But then you look at a character like Sidestepper, who has pincers to grab the wheel, but he just doesn't. It's not a good look, and it makes Mario Kart World look unprofessional. But with those issues aside, I really like having so many enemies and wacky characters playable. I'm a fan of the roster despite its problems, but that begs a question. Why are certain mainstays like Diddy Kong and Funky Kong missing? And the answer to that couldn't be more apparent. What releases a little over a month after Mario Kart World? Donkey Kong Bananza. We don't know for certain yet, but it's very likely Diddy Kong will be in the game. After all, he just got a new redesign. And what's the landscape of multiplayer gaming in the year 2025? Live service. What Nintendo is likely going to do is give Mario Kart World, get ready for it, free updates. These will add in probably more characters and costumes. Mario Kart World is going to be the evergreen title for the Nintendo Switch too, that'll be played consistently throughout its life and beyond. With such a large player base, it would be an excellent opportunity to promote their new games directly in Mario Kart World. I would say that it's likely we'll get Diddy Kong and Funky Kong playable shortly before or after the release of Donkey Kong Bananza, hopefully even Dixie Kong. And maybe that's when they'll start including RPG characters. Nintendo promoted both Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door and Mario and Luigi Brothership in Super Mario Run. Imagine doing that in a game people actually are playing. I could see Nintendo also adding more characters that aren't related to a specific game. We'll probably see the return of fan favorites like Petey Pirhanna and even Kamek. The good news is that Mario Kart World isn't missing a ton of fan favorites unless you count the Koopalings, and if you do, they'll likely be added all at once. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know how I feel about free updates in Nintendo games. A game like Super Mario Maker 2 launched with an ample amount of content, and its free updates enhance the game. I actually think Super Mario Maker 2's biggest problem is that Nintendo didn't support it enough. Easily could have been Nintendo's Minecraft, but they just neglected it. But then you take a look at the sports games like Nintendo Switch Sports, which didn't even launch with the pack-in leg strap being fully functional until an update nearly 3 months after the game launched. And it took 7 months after launch to get golf and over 2 years for basketball. With Mario Kart World, it's definitely a game that benefits from getting consistently supported post-launch. However, I'm making a bold prediction. I feel that Mario Kart World is going to be the Animal Crossing New Horizons of the Mario Kart series. It's going to launch with a decent amount of content, and it has some excellent new features and mechanics, but it is missing important features such as the 3 missing battle modes, and I still feel that 32 tracks is still too low. 48 should have been the minimum. I don't want to hear the Mario Kart 8 launched with 32 tracks. Okay, that was 11 years ago. Mario Kart 64 had 16 tracks. Standards change. Don't settle for less. Mario Kart World is pretty much guaranteed to be a banger, but if you're wondering why the roster is the way it is, it's likely because Nintendo will continue to support the game post-launch and add new characters in with free updates. And to be real, yes, it is a little bit annoying, but I'm not too upset about it. Ideally, I think Mario Kart World should have pulled in Everyone Is Here, and it wasn't unreasonable to want that considering that Mario Kart Tour went in that direction. And adding every Mario Kart character isn't as complex as adding a fighter to Smash Bros. Or having the whole roster. They don't have unique movesets or anything like that. It's just animating and creating a model, giving the character some stats, good to go. But speaking of Super Smash Bros., many have been bummed that the Nintendo characters aren't in Mario Kart World, so what is the future for them? Honestly, I actually like Mario Kart World being entirely focused on the Mario universe. But, remember how I said Nintendo could add characters to promote their new games? Who's to say it's limited to just Mario characters? Thunderstash Gaming brought this up on the Nintendo Byte podcast the other day, and it really resonated with me. What if Nintendo adds Samus to promote Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? Or even Kirby to promote Kirby Air Riders? It's actually a genius idea, even though I don't think Nintendo is going to promote games outside of the Mario universe. You know how many times people get into a series because they resonated with a character they played as in Super Smash Bros.? The same could apply to Mario Kart World, and that is the most likely outcome for Nintendo characters in Mario Kart World. So there you have it. This is likely why the Mario Kart World roster is the way it is. I'm hoping that we'll see the return of Rob and Honey Queen soon, but who is your Mario Kart World man going to be? Special shout out to Glitzy Terror, Cullen Wickham, Mevins, Remu, and FastFan07 for being channel members. You can join too, and get a shout out at the end of the video. Thanks for watching and keep calm and da-da on.